Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Who will Manchester United appoint? Zinedine Zidane or Brendan Rodgers? Now talks have been ongoing between Manchester United and Zinedine Zidane. But it's said the deal is difficult. His preference right now is to coach the French team. Zidane's close relationships with Ronaldo and Varane could persuade him to join. Ronaldo's made it clear that he wants Zidane at Manchester United in 2022. Ronaldo knows Zidane very well because Ronaldo played under Zidane when he was at Real Madrid. I reckon that Zidane would be the man for Manchester United. I think if he came to Manchester United, he would be capable of winning trophies. He'd get the best out of these group of players, and I think he would suit the strappings of the club. Reports have said before that Zidane is not interested in the Manchester United job. But there again, reports from Spain said earlier on this season that Zidane rejected the Newcastle job as he's waiting for the Man United or France job. Zidane is available because he left Real Madrid in the summer, and you've got to admire what he did at Real Madrid. He won a lot of trophies at Real Madrid, so reflecting on that, he's got a good pedigree behind him. Hasn't he? It'll be good for Zidane to come and experience the Premier League because he's not yet managed in the Premier League. Brendan Rodgers, he's the favourite to replace Solskjaer. Brendan Rodgers is more likely to become the new Man United manager than Zidane. That's what it did mention yesterday. Recently, Rodgers was house hunting in Cheshire. And apparently, Rodgers has already verbally agreed to become Manchester United's new manager. But his preference would be to wait until next season because Rodgers is reluctant to leave Leicester midway through the season. The Manchester Evening News said not so long ago that Man United are ready to trigger Brendan Rodgers' contract clause if Solskjaer gets sacked. But Man United are confident that Brendan Rodgers will be their new manager. You know, should Brendan Rodgers replace Solskjaer? Rodgers is a far superior manager to Solskjaer. You've got to admire what Rodgers has done at Leicester. You know, so far at Leicester he's won the Community Shield and the FA Cup, and he's been Leicester manager for almost 3 years now. He's got a contract with Leicester until 2025. But certainly, my preference would be Zidane over Brendan Rodgers. Pochettino to Manchester United is a possibility, because reports from France did say that Pochettino is considering a return to the Premier League on his next job. Pochettino has a full season left on his PSG contract. Ralph Rangnick's also been mentioned. Fabrizio Romano recently gave us an update on him, and he said Manchester United turned down Ralph Rangnick. There was rumours of him possibly coming in as the interim manager until the end of the season. Erik ten Hag has also been spoken about a lot. You've got to admire what Erik ten Hag has done at Ajax. You know, he's won a few trophies with them and he's been Ajax manager for 4 years. But he did say not so long ago that Erik ten Hag was reluctant to leave Ajax. Now, in regards to Solskjaer, it's said recently that Manchester United have made a final decision on the future of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Man United are committed to stand by Solskjaer until the end of the season. And Fabrizio Romano said earlier on today, like I updated you, he said Manchester United want to continue with Solskjaer for as long as possible, with a view to assess the situation in the summer. Reports said over the weekend that senior stars want Solskjaer sacked. That was actually stemming from Duncan Castles. Danny Mills said not so long ago that Solskjaer commits a sackable offence in Man United training, and our senior players agreed that Solskjaer committed a sackable offence. Last week, reports came out saying that Solskjaer was waiting to be sacked after leaving Manchester. Last Monday, Solskjaer flew back home to Norway with his family. Solskjaer is going to be in charge for the game against Watford. So as things stand at the moment, Solskjaer's job is safe. Solskjaer is losing the players. He's also losing the fans' support. If Manchester United decide to sack Solskjaer, they'll have to pay Solskjaer £7.5 million. In the summer, he signed a new 3-year contract with an option of a further year. Solskjaer should have been sacked after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. If we'd have sacked him after that game, I can assure that Manchester United would have got Antonio Conte. He said after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool that Ollie had been given 3 games to save his job. And we only won one of them 3 games. We beat Tottenham 3-0, drew 2-2 with Atalanta. And lost to Manchester City 2-0. A lot of United fans have said if Solskjaer really cared about the club, he would resign. But obviously he's not going to resign because he doesn't get paid off if he resigns, and plus Solskjaer refused to resign after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. Solskjaer's been given long enough now as Manchester United manager. He's been in charge of the club for almost 3 years. And reflecting how long he has been Man United manager, he has gained some managerial experience and he's learnt a few different things on the job, but there's still plenty of things Solskjaer's got to learn because he is still a young coach. But Ole has no proven pedigree as a manager, which is a big concern. Plus, Solskjaer's tactics and his team selections have been questioned quite a lot. But reflecting on our poor performances, not all of the blame stems from Solskjaer. There's also players that have to take responsibility as well for those poor performances. But Solskjaer is aware that he's under pressure because Man United have only won one of their last 6 Premier League games, and we've had back-to-back home defeats to Manchester City and Liverpool. And Man United are currently sitting 6th in the Premier League at the moment. Of course, we all wanted Solskjaer to succeed as Man United manager, but obviously he's not going to. You know, Solskjaer is not capable of winning trophies as Man United manager. He's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager. We haven't won anything since 2017. I just feel as though that the expectations are far too high for Solskjaer to exceed as Man United manager, and I do reckon that Ole is in a position that he shouldn't be in. You know, I hate to say this regarding Solskjaer, revert back to what I've said before, but I'm just being realistic. Obviously, we all adore Solskjaer, reflecting on what he's done for the club. At the end of the day, Solskjaer is a club legend. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Manchester United it was going to be a massive job. Not only that, he knew it was going to be a difficult job as well, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. Solskjaer's managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. Solskjaer got appointed in December 2018. He's been permanent United manager since March 2019. Yes, I think we made a mistake giving him the job on a permanent basis, but there again it was hard not to give him the job on a permanent basis, reflecting how well he did when he first came in. You know, if Solskjaer does get sacked, he will be the 4th permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson, because Man United have already sacked 3 managers since Ferguson. We sacked David Moyes, we sacked Louis van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. And Man United are not really known as a sacking football club because we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers. But Man United should be doing far better than they are because we have got a very good squad. It's a title-winning squad, so Man United should be winning the league this season, or at least competing for the title. Man United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window this year. You know, spent around £141 million, made 4 signings, 3 of them were major signings. And the board backed Solskjaer well in the summer transfer window, and they're still backing him now. You know, the Glazers are backing him, Ed Woodward's backing him, John Murtough, our director of football's backing him, and backed him in the summer transfer window, and Darren Fletcher has also backed him. Solskjaer's enjoyed like 5 transfer windows now as permanent Man United manager. But at this moment in time, the club from top to bottom is in a predicament, and the way to get out of this predicament is to get a change of manager, and also structural changes are needed at the club. Manchester United are going to offload players next year. I think Paul Pogba's going in January because it said not so long ago that Man United are prepared to sell Paul Pogba in the January transfer window. Well, it's better to offload him in January and cash in for him rather than let him go on a free transfer next summer. Pogba's missing the rest of 2021 because last Monday he suffered a thigh injury in France training. Pogba may never play for the club again. There again, reports from France said the other day that Pogba wants to renew his contract with Man United, but reportedly on one condition, that he's made the Premier League's highest paid player. So he wants to overtake Ronaldo as the highest paid player. At the moment, Pogba receives around 290 grand a week on his current contract. Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Before the start of this season, Pogba rejected a new Man United contract offer. Pogba's got one game to serve in the league out of the 3-match ban he got, because Pogba got sent off in the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. Pogba did play in the 2-2 draw against Atalanta, but he put a very poor performance out, and reflecting on his poor performance, he got heavily criticised. But I want Pogba to stay because I think Pogba's a good player. Not only a good player, he's an imperative player. And he enjoyed a good start to the Premier League season so far. Pogba's got 7 assists. He produced good performances for Man United in the last couple of months of last season, but at one point last season he was out with a thigh injury for a while, and he has sustained some ankle injuries at Man United. Pogba's had a long-running transfer saga as well. Obviously, he's been relentlessly linked with Real Madrid. PSG have been in for him, Barcelona have been in for him, his former club Juventus have been in for him. He enjoyed 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Man United, and Inter Milan have been in for him before. Mino Raiola, who's Paul Pogba's agent, he's been working hard now for quite a while to get his client to move away from Manchester United. Pogba's won 3 trophies at Man United so far, and this season is his 6th season at the club since he re-signed, and he's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. Matic, I think he's going next year. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that he still seems to get his opportunities. And I've always had my reservations about Matic, despite him having his good games at Man United. You know, Matic has always been a static midfielder, plus he's ageing up. So there you go. Surprisingly enough, Matic is ahead of Van der Beek in that midfield. I think Matic is the only predominant centre defensive midfielder we've got. Matic has been at Manchester United for 4.5 years. We got him for 40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Before the start of, was it last season, he signed a new 3-year contract. Donny van der Beek's leaving Manchester United in January. The player has confirmed that himself. Well, he has to go, Van der Beek, because he's not getting enough game time at Manchester United. So reflecting on that, I haven't had much of a perception on him. But overall, he is a good player. And I've said before, Solskjaer has to start Van der Beek, especially in the Premier League. Prior to the Liverpool game, Solskjaer made an admission regarding Van der Beek, saying that Van der Beek is frustrated and disappointed over his situation at Old Trafford. And earlier on this season, it did mention that Van der Beek was furious with Solskjaer. Van der Beek's endured what a difficult 19 months at the club. This season is his 2nd full season at Man United. Got him for 40 million with add-ons included, and he's got a contract with the club till 2025. There's an option of a further year, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Lingard, I think he's also going next year as well. Apparently, Lingard could be going for just £10 million. But obviously, it's better to cash in for him in January rather than let him go on a free next summer, because Lingard's current contract expires next summer. Well, earlier on this season, it did mention that Lingard rejected a new Man United contract offer because of 2 players. Lingard doesn't really get in the team. He's made a few appearances this season. Lingard's been part of the club though for a long time. He was in our academy in that. At one point, Solskjaer said he wants Lingard to stay, and he might still want him to stay. Last season, Lingard enjoyed a 4-month loan spell with West Ham, and what an impact he made. West Ham tried to get Jesse Lingard in the summer transfer window this year, but West Ham were struggling to meet our 25 million asking price. Martial, I think he's also going next year. You know, Martial doesn't really get in the team, does he? He's not good enough to represent the club. Not so long ago, Martial's just come back from injury. Martial was out with a knee injury for a while last season. There again, at the start of this season, he said Solskjaer refuses to sell Martial as he remains part of his plan. Solskjaer seems to have trustworthy in him. That explains why Solskjaer gave him that number 9 shirt. Yeah, the best season Martial enjoyed was his debut season under Louis van Gaal, without a shadow of a doubt. Martial's been at Manchester United for 6.5 years. He's got 3 years left on his contract. We got him in a deal worth 58 million from Monaco back in 2015. Edison Cavani, I think he's also leaving next year. Unfortunately, I don't want Cavani to leave because he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. Cavani is out with injury at the moment. He's out until December. He was out with injury earlier on this season. Cavani has got under a year left on his contract. It was back in May he signed that 1-year contract extension. This season is Cavani's second full season at Man United. You know, we did get him on a free transfer from PSG. Juan Mata, I can assure he's leaving next year. Well, Juan Mata's contract expires next summer. Earlier on this year, Juan Mata signed a 1-year contract extension. I can't understand why we extended Mata's contract for the further year, because he doesn't even get in the team. Plus, he's lost that yard of pace and he's aging up. But I think overall he's a good player and he's had a good career at Manchester United. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored over 50 goals. He's been at the club for 7.5 years now, so he's been a very long-serving player. We got Juan Mata from Chelsea back in 2014 in a deal worth 40 million. And at the first part of last season, he rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. And Tellez, I think he's going next year because Tellez doesn't really get in the team. Tellez will only play when Luke Shaw's not available. Obviously, Tellez had to come on in the game against Man City because Luke Shaw went off with a concussion and Tellez nearly conceded a penalty against Man City. Tellez was out of injury himself earlier on this season. The reason we brought Tellez in, though, was to provide competition for Luke Shaw. You know, we got Tellez in a deal worth 15.4 million from Porto last year. Dalot, I think he's another one that's going next year. Dalot doesn't get in the team. Dalot will only play when Bissaka's not available. Dalot's our backup right back. He's done well in some of the games, though, he's been involved in. Last season, Dalot had a loan spell with AC Milan, so reflecting on that, he gained some experience. And we got Dalot around 3 years ago from Porto. We paid around £19 million for him. He's got a contract with Man United till 2023. And Jones and Bailly, I think they're both going next year. And I think Dean Henderson will go out on loan. And I think he wants a loan move away from Man United anyway, because Dean Henderson doesn't get in the goal now, does he? Because obviously De Gea reclaimed that number 1 spot back. Didn't he? Henderson's only been in goal for 1 game so far this season. That was West Ham in the Cup. But at one point, Henderson was out with COVID for a while. At one point last season, though, Henderson got the number 1 jersey and he did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for last season. So there you go. But like I say, Manchester United have got some very, very good players. But the reason we're not getting the best out of a lot of the players is because we're a team of individuals. We don't actually play as a team. You know, if we played as an actual team, we'd be very, very consistent and would be up there with the likes of City, Liverpool and Chelsea. Look who we've got, you know, we've got the best player in the world overall in Ronaldo. You've got Mason Greenwood, that's a talented player. You've got Marcus Rashford, that's a good player. You've got Fernandes, that's a world-class player. Even though he's had his bad games at United, he's still a world-class player. One of the best signings we've made since Fergie retired. You know, you've got Cavani, that's a good player like I've already mentioned. Overall, Sancho's a good player, but Sancho's been very poor for Manchester United so far. And then you've got Van der Beek, that's a good player, but doesn't get enough game time. Revert back to what I said earlier on in the video. Then you've got Paul Pogba, that's also a good player. You've got Luke Shaw, that's a good left back, but certainly has not proven how good he can be this season so far, because he's been appalling this season, Luke Shaw, and I'm surprised in that aspect because last season Luke Shaw was superb, very superb. You know, you've got Eric Bailly, that's a good centre-half, but Bailly doesn't get regular game time, does he? Obviously with the signing of Varane in the summer transfer window, and obviously Solskjaer prefers Lindelof ahead of Eric Bailly. Bailly's made 3 appearances so far this season. You've got Varane, that's a good centre-half as well. You know, he's already endured 2 injuries though since he signed. You know, he's out with a hamstring injury now for around a month. And not so long ago, Varane was out with a groin injury, and he was out with that groin injury for a few weeks. Varane made his initial return in the 3-0 win against Tottenham. Harry Maguire can be a good centre-half, but he's been very poor for Man United so far this season, and he's been even worse since he came back from that calf injury. But Maguire has had his good games at Man United. You seem to get the best out of Maguire when he's playing alongside Varane, but when he's alongside Lindelof or Bailly, he's very poor. And you know, you've got Wan-Bissaka, that's also a good right back as well. The defensive side of his game, superb. The attacking side of his game is not so good. He's got to show a lot more attacking intent if he's to, you know, become a world-class right back. And you've got De Gea, that's also a very, very good goalkeeper. I've got to give him credit because I think he's done really, really well so far this season. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do. Consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.